Thanks for joining us online at St Michael's Chester Square. Whether you're looking for a church or curious about faith, we're a church in the heart of London with a heart for London. We want to encounter God, equip the church, and evangelize London and beyond. We'd love to see you on a Sunday soon. You can find out more at stmichaelschesterSquare.org and follow us on Instagram so you don't miss anything. For now, we pray this message inspires and equips you.
Good morning, St. Michael's Chester Square. I hope you've had an incredible morning so far. My name's Liam Healy. I am our PCC treasurer, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk a little bit, not budget. I am an American, so you'll have to pardon my candor, but I'd really like to talk a little bit about the art of the possible. And I'd like to cover it in three ways. I'd like to talk a little bit about the impact that each of you are making and that the church is making on our community, followed by some provocative questions, I believe, around our potential, and finishing up with, if I may, a bit of a cheeky challenge that hopefully you will find both inspiring and a bit personal for each of you. And so if I start off with impact, for the last 175 years, St. Michael's Chester Square has been making a genuinely impressive impact on our community, depending on where you draw the line of community. In recent times, we've amassed more than 45 to 50 households that come to St. Michael's for worship on a regular basis. And that equates to 115 or 120 people that come each week to worship God and to follow Christ. What's impressive to me, and specifically as a volunteer for our children's group, for our youth, is over 20% of our congregation is children. They're kids. They make a real impact in our lives, certainly, but in the lives of the community for years to come. They are the light of our future. And, the 75 to 80% that are above that generation are the guiding light for those children. And that's many, many of you, but certainly in the community, the influences that they have. And further, when you think about the digital channels that our children have access to these days. And so now more than ever is an opportunity for us to help to guide them and to continue to foster their relationship with Christ. In the last few weeks, certainly in Blue Group, but I know in other groups from also contributing there, it is staggering how much our children know about God and the Bible and following Christ. One of the children the other day made the comment that Jesus was a real person that was born and that lived a perfect life and that died for us to bring us closer to the Father, to God. And it was, in leaving that session, it dawned on me how closely these children are paying attention and learning, and most importantly, looking to us to help guide their future, which will come with all the ups and downs that we all know, that we can share our experiences. And in many cases, the environment that we've created at St. Michael's is such a welcoming community. Those that come in off the street, certainly our youth, are going through life's trials and tribulations and leave with real experience from each of us on how they can navigate those waters by looking to Christ. The impact that we've made as a church in the heart of London, with a heart for London, has been incredible in these recent times. And I think that leads me to The next set of provocative questions is around our potential. Are we really reaching our potential? And as my father would say, potential is a dirty word. It's hard to meet your potential, but it's certainly easy to not reach your potential. And it leads me to ask the question of, does God expect more of us? Does he have more for us? And when you think about it, less than 10% of our community households, and again, depending on where you draw the line, attend St. Michael's Chester Square on some sort of a regular basis. And it begs the question, are there others in the community that need Christ? Are they facing some unanswered questions that we know Christ has the answer to and that we can help with? About 10% of our congregation serves, and we're incredibly blessed to have the resources that St. Michael's has. It's over 5,000 volunteer hours that goes into certainly the worship on Sundays, but the outreach in the community and beyond through our mission efforts. But is there a way that we can make a bigger impact? And I think we should explore that question. In relation to our fiscal needs, we grew our income last year by almost 5%, which will make an incredible impact intentionally on the areas that we want to focus. And, we'll be able to hire a youth pastor this year. We'll be able to continue to add to the fantastic events. We had a very successful event at Michaelmas. The Elizabeth Street lighting was fantastic to see. I think we ran out of resources there, and the amount of people that showed up, not even realizing that we were right there on the corner of Elizabeth Street, was eye-opening. Our alpha groups, our Bible studies, the amount of time that you make for each other in our home groups makes a real impact on our community. But the question is, can we do more? And that's a very personal question. And so I'd like to pose a bit of a cheeky challenge to us as a community inside of the community. And again, this is unique to every single person. But we've broken it out in 3 really easy things that we can do that will show parental progress or incremental progress to what we are doing to make an impact on the community. First, can we find in 2026 12 to 15 new households inside the community? Do each of us know a household or some people that are in search of Christ, and we have the bridge to get there? We have the environment to welcome them and to share our experiences and to provide an environment where they can thrive and bring them to Jesus. Second, can we find as many 12 to 15 new volunteers? And whether you think about that as a rotational or a generalist volunteer or an incredibly intentional volunteer, maybe there's something that you can search inside yourself through your own unique experiences through life that you can contribute and be on call for each of the generations in our group. And whether that's serving as a prayer leader or serving coffee and tea, or whether it's educating our youth, that's incredibly impactful. And finally, I'd be remiss as our treasurer and an American if I didn't say that there was more that we could do fiscally. But each of us has to search ourselves to see how possible that really is. To give you some context, if there were 3 levels of pledge, it would increase our budget materially for us to allow to continue to drive intentionality through the path to Christ. At a 50 pounds more per each of us pledge each month, that would increase our budget another 5%. And we're already doing incredible things with the budget that we have. but could we do more? Are there additional staff that we should be bringing in? Are there more events that we should be doing on a seasonal basis, with Easter coming up, not in the far future? At £150 pledge per month more, that increases our budget by 15%. And we can start to broaden our horizons in the community. Are there other ways that we want to serve the homeless? Are there other ways that we want to bring people closer to Christ in St. Michael's by broadening our reach? And at £250 pledge more per month, that would increase our budget by 25%. And so certainly our reach goes well beyond a sustainable mission, but starts to truly bring to life what we're doing at St. Michael's Chester Square. And these are bold, courageous things that we need to do. But, if I search my own heart, I know that God leads me to faith, and that seeing isn't believing. That there are areas where we simply have to make the commitment on a recurring type basis to bring up the predictability of what is 80% now recurring and highly reoccurring to 90%, so that we can be good stewards for Christ in that mission. And so I'll leave you with one thought and something to mull over for the rest of the day. Is there an incentive or a motivation for you personally? Is there something inside of you with your time and your experience or your own budgets that you can contribute that would be meaningful to you to look at how our children are growing, how each of you have supported each other in good and bad times that you can give? And as you search that across the day, we would be incredibly gracious if you could follow the link after this chat or in your own time, or seek out one of us to say you want to do more. And let's leave it in God's hands to bring that to life on what more for Chester Square really means. And so thank you for listening. Thank you for all of your contributions. Thank you for being a part of our community. It's making an incredible impact, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
So in response to Liam's cheeky challenge, we've got a few options of what you can do there. So we can head to visionsunday.org or scan the QR code there. And there's a link there to help fill in a form. And you've got the ability to just declare your interest in whether it's you want to commit to bring along someone or maybe a family regularly to church over the next year, whether it's that you want to serve in a new way or perhaps serve for the first time as part of St. Michael's. And then also there's the option to pledge if you're going to increase your giving or to start giving in the first place. We still think there's probably about 25 households that are not yet giving to the church as well. And I'm aware that with Liam's challenge there on those three different levels and what impact they could make for us as a church, I'm aware that there'll be a real variety of those of us here in this room. There'll be some who'll be thinking, wow, £50, that is just totally unrealistic. And for each one of us, the principle isn't so much around a figure. The principle is around what does sacrificial giving look like for you. And however small, however much you can give is hugely, hugely appreciated. And then there'll be some of us who'll be thinking, actually, you know what, £50, I mean, if I would have to make maybe some adjustments to my daily or my weekly life, I think I can probably just about push to reach £50 extra a month to give to the church. There'll be some of us here today that will be thinking, again, yeah, if I make some adjustments, it'll be tight, but maybe I could just about afford £150 more per month. And then there'll be some of us, and you look at the £250 figure, and you'll be thinking, that's not even going to touch the sides of my bank account. I'm not even going to notice that amount leaving my bank account. And so there'll be a real variety of us here in the church. But just Liam's encouragement, Liam's challenge for us in each of these areas, whether it's serving, whether it's giving, whether it's inviting people to churches, is to ask God, like, what is it that you're calling me to do?
as we're seeking to build upon and have sustainable momentum when it comes to our church here at St. Michael's. And just to give you a quick view in a few different ways that you can help to think about this too. On your way out, you will be given you'll be able to take one of these shape assessments. Now, the shape assessment is something that Rick Warren developed. And it's a questionnaire where you can just run through and work out all sorts of answers to questions around your spiritual gifts, your heart, your passion, your abilities, your personality, your experiences. And then what it does is as you go through it, you're given an opportunity to get a bit more clarity on just how it is that God might use you. And perhaps there's something in your experience, something in your personality, your makeup, and actually you think, I could offer that to the church. And you can take this away and do it in your own time, but I've personally found it to be hugely valuable for me in the past. And that could just help inform you as you think about how it is that you want to serve here at the church. Also, similarly, we're going to have some people coming around with clipboards asking you, encouraging you if you could help to serve with our Christmas events that are coming up over the next few weeks as well. And as we think about the passage that we looked at earlier in Mark chapter 6 of Jesus feeding the 5,000, there's the question for each of us is what is in our hand? Perhaps we feel like there is scarcity for us. Perhaps we feel like we've only got a handful of loaves and fish. But actually, as we offer that to Jesus Christ, he does abundantly more than we can ask or imagine through it. What we see in that same passage is that Jesus, he provides the structure for his abundance to flow. He gets his disciples to arrange the people to sit down in organized groups. And we're really working hard on what it looks like for us to be a church that has that sort of level of structure. We've got an associate vicar arriving in a week's time who's going to help us with that. We've been introduced to Sophie, our new associate kids pastor. We've had Dwayne come and join us, helping us to bring life to our worship and the structure behind that as well. And Jesus wants to provide us with structure. But Jesus is not just the provider for us. He is also the provision. He takes the bread, he blesses it, he thanks God for it, he breaks it, and then he begins to give it out. What we see in this gospel and the other gospels too is that Jesus, he is demonstrating, he is foreshadowing what he will do for us on the cross. And in Luke's gospel in particular, actually the sequence of what he does with the bread is the exact same sequence as what he does at the Last Supper the night before he goes to the cross. And so Jesus is not just saying that I am your provider, but Jesus is saying I am your provision. And we come now to part of our act of worship when we come to receive communion, where we recognize that the ground is level at the foot of the cross. So we come again to receive not just what Jesus has done for us, but who Jesus is. His abundance, his free gift of grace, and the reminder, just as Liam reminded us, that there is far more that is possible through Jesus Christ than what we recognize when we just bring our own lives to him.